All right, let's do a quick mic check. Okay, looks like it is working. That is good. Will be on screen in just a moment. In the meantime, I'll just say hi. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's having a great weekend. Just getting my palette out and I'll be ready to go. Alrighty. My face cam isn't working. 1 second. There we go. Okay, face cam is working. Let's see if that helps my sound at all. Maybe not. Anyways, hello everyone. So I'm going to be continuing this painting today. I think it's slightly out of focus, but I will fix that in just a second. Yeah, slightly out of focus. All right, there we go. I have to see if any of it's dry, or rather I should say wet, because it looks like all of it's dry. Maybe not all of it. Okay, some of it's definitely wet. The best spot for painting to be in. There's some of it's wet, some isn't. Yeah, some of it really isn't. Okay. All right, I'll have to be careful. Hey, Julia, welcome. Good to see you. How have you been? For me, I'd consider it afternoon, but I do understand how time zones work. So, good evening. I'm not implying you don't. I'm just saying, like, for me, it's afternoon. Sorry, I didn't mean to imply anything. Uh, yeah. You got your oils out again? Oh, that's fantastic. That's great. I can't wait to see what you do with it. I'm so excited for you. That's fantastic. All right, I am going to oil out her face because I think most of that is dry. But then the rest of the painting I can't oil out. So, no, her hand probably. Hey, Shannon. How you doing? Good to see you. Shannon is the co-host of Drawn Together on Dylan Sarah's YouTube channel, which I highly recommend. Unless I'm getting my people confused, in which case I'm just being an idiot. But I'm pretty sure I got that right. There is more than one Shannon in the world, though, so I always worry that I get things confused. And with the long delay in YouTube chat, there's always a moment of like waiting between things where I'm just like, did I make a mistake? Yeah. And now I'm the Shannon of which you speak. Okay, good. My brain was like, wait a second. You and names are not so good. Are you right on this? Yeah. Awesome. Alrighty. So I'm gonna be trying to finish this one today, but we'll see if I can pull it off. Feeling rusty ever since I stepped away for so long. Uh, Julia, or Julie rather. Sorry if I say it wrong. Please share your work in the Discord when you get around to it. I have forgotten many names. Yes, I have forgotten many, many names. We were gone for a week and a half, not that long. I know, I feel rusty. I don't know. I'm not that rusty, but a little, just a little. It's all right. Awesome, Julie. I look forward to seeing it. So, I've been talking with Cody about we're going to be doing a workshop uh, at his art school. It's going to be online, but through his art school. And it looks like that's going to happen next month, which I'm really excited about. And just we're trying to lock down the dates of everything right now. Uh, but yeah, very exciting. Have I heard of Lo-Fi Girl? I have. Why? What theme is the workshop going to be? The theme is going to be around my painting style and of excuse me one second. Pardon me. Around not being afraid of your painting and of making mistakes and being expressive with your brush marks and so on. So that's kind of the theme of the workshop. Hopefully it's something that people can that people find appealing. We're working on the name at the moment. I see, Michelle. Um, well, we can talk about that a little bit later. I'm not, yeah, we can talk about that later. That's a very anime style, kind of, you know, kind of look. Naming is always the most difficult, right? Yeah, it is very difficult. I've never been very good at naming things, so yeah. I don't know. We were thinking something like painting without fear, portrait painting without fear, or no fear painting portrait, or expressive painting portraits, or something like that, kind of along those lines. And then it's going to be online, so instead of being like, what's it called? Instead of being just a weekend, it was going to be a bit longer to give people time to, work on things because it is online. So we're also trying to figure out the dates. We had an idea for dates and then realized that it also overlapped on the 4th of July. And we weren't sure if people would want to you know, if they'd want to take a class during the 4th of July weekend or not. So wasn't sure about that. So yeah. So but it's exciting. I'm really looking forward to it. And because it's our first collab, it's going to be, I think, priced pretty well as as well, which, you know, is always, I know it can, is also important. So yeah. So right now I'm looking off to the side at my reference. I have my reference and my painting overlaid so I can see where things are slightly off and just fix them. I mean, my reference is off to the side anyway, so like I'm always looking in that direction anyways, but yeah. Right now I'm using my reference and my painting on top of each other so I can see where everything is. I mean, I think one of the benefits of workshops in general is like a lot of the information, if you just watch me, like if we're being honest, you can pick a lot of it up. But one of the benefits is committing the time, committing the, committing to trying it out specifically, and then the feedback I always think is also, um, you know, always a very beneficial thing. At least that's how I felt when I took Nicholas Uribe's workshop or class rather, because I mean, he just paints online, so there's so much of his content that you can watch for free, but having that interaction, having that ability to ask questions on video, not through chat, like is always, I feel like is always beneficial. Julie says, yes, the like psychotherapy, it's a matter of prioritizing, right? Oh, definitely. That's definitely an aspect to it. I mean, I've learned so much stuff online for free, back in the day when it wasn't as popular online. I would also go to bookstores and read books about certain subjects. I mean, you can learn so much online for free, but I will say that sometimes just having A, prioritizing it, and B, uh, having that like very direct back and forth type of thing can really speed things along. I definitely think like even though I learned to oil paint, I don't want to say I learned to oil paint on my own. I learned about oil painting through free resources online. I think I would have skipped a ton of headaches had I taken some classes early on. Um, because there were things that I kept stumbling on that probably wouldn't have been such a big issue had I invested and done that. But I didn't have the option at the time for numerous reasons. So yeah. Most of which was the time, I think, if I remember correctly. Right, a lot of this is in a really good place. Now that nostril needs a little bit of movement. But yeah, a lot of this is in a really good spot as far as placement goes. So pretty happy with it. Like, one of the things I really had a hard time with in the beginning was I wasn't, and I didn't realize it at the time, I wasn't using the right brushes. And so it was, it made life so difficult. Just not using the right type of brushes really, really made things so much harder. Also, the paint I was using, not the worst thing in the world. I've used it since, but definitely like makes everything a little harder than it needs to be. Hey Luis, welcome. How you doing? Hey Zan, welcome. Good to see you. That's coming along nicely. Thank you so much. So it says, I'm using a photo reference for a set of pictures I have used 4 times already. The model is going to think I'm stalking her. Oh, that's funny. Or punishing her or something, given there was, oh no, Julie, no. That's funny. I mean, is it, uh, okay, so it's a set of references. So it's not the same reference exactly each time. I mean, that's okay. I did a few paintings of the same people a few times because I did a photo shoot with them. I think that's fine. Julie says, yeah, well, wait till you see what I've done to her. I'm sure it's not that bad. Also, if you don't, I mean, I don't know if you're doing portraiture exactly or if you're doing figurative. If if the likeness isn't super important, you can be a little loose with getting the likeness right, which can help with that. I definitely fall into this trap a lot where it's like I have to get the likeness right. And look, when I'm doing a portrait like this, yeah, I have to get the likeness right. But when I'm doing other stuff that, you know, uh, the likeness isn't as important, then no, it doesn't matter that much. You want to be close because that's what a person looks like, but you don't need to be exact. But I definitely fall into that trap a lot. It's so hard to let that go and not try and be, you know, perfect with it. I mean, I struggle with perfectionism anyways, so, there's that. Billy says, I can't get likeness often, but I have been experimenting with different mediums. So it's more exercise than anything else. Okay. Likeness is a challenging aspect of painting, for sure. There's two ways of getting likeness, two main kind of ways of achieving likeness. One is to just basically make a copy of whatever it is you're looking at, and by nature you'll get the likeness, right? Because if you copy what you see, that's self-explanatory. Um, Keeping the likeness when you try and push away from that can be a little more challenging. Um, I think one thing that people don't look at enough is caricature because people don't think about caricature and like portraits or fine art the same. But the reality is the good caricature artists get likeness while still like messing with you know the features. So there's some really good stuff you can learn from that. Um, Proco on YouTube has some good videos about caricature. I don't know if some of them I think are paywalled, I'm not sure, but yeah, you can find some good resources out there. I would not claim to be an expert on it, but overall, the idea is that you have the features, and the features fall into sets of, they have like the simplification of the features and and as long as you keep some of those proportions, even if you exaggerate the proportions, which I know sounds silly because you can't keep them if you exaggerate them, but uh, relatively kind of thing, you can keep the likeness. But like I said, I'm not an expert at that, and I would highly recommend watching others who are much better at it than me. For caricature, right? I would never teach caricature. Well, maybe I would, but I'd have to get a lot better at it first. So right now I'm layering the hair because she's gonna have a highlight here. So I'm putting in the richer color of her hair, and then the highlight will come in over that. Um, but just because I'm layering it doesn't mean I am what's it called? Doesn't mean I'm layering it like I'm gonna wait for this to dry and then come back. I'll layer wet on wet. So, but I do expect it to not be a perfect cover. So when you get like the warmer undertones coming through, at least that's the idea. By the way, if anyone missed my stream uh, on Thursday and had any questions about Portrait Society, you're more than welcome to ask. Uh, I barely remember everything I covered on it, so yeah, I don't even know if I'll be repeating myself or not, but more than welcome to ask. Was it mainly US residents? Um, I mean, I'd definitely say the majority for sure. It's not closed to people uh, from other countries, but travel is definitely a uh, a barrier. You know, the price of everything. So yeah, mainly. I mean, even in America, everything's so spread out. It's so far and expensive to go to. Like, I definitely would love to go next year, but I really don't know that I can afford it. So, you know, might have to be, might have to skip next year, unfortunately. But yeah, as far as I know, like there's nothing about it that is closed to people from anywhere else. Did you think you got what you were expecting? Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I mean, it went well, so that's always good. Like, it could have gone poorly, but you know, yeah, I think it went well, and I think I got out of it mostly what I was expecting. Because for me, it mostly was um, it was mostly a way of getting out and meeting people. Which I painting can be such an isolated thing, and a lot of a lot of professional painters are very busy, so they're not stopping in on my stream a lot. So it's hard to meet other people who are doing this full time, you know. Um, yeah. So yeah, I think I got a lot out of it. And as it is like streaming and like YouTube, watching live streams and stuff like that, the majority of the people there are not doing that at all. Like it's like half the people there don't even know what Twitch is or what Discord is. I'd say more than half. Everyone knows what YouTube is. Um, but yeah, it's hard to type in paint too. It is. In fact, I know a few painters who say that they put me on and then, they put my streams on, but then they don't type or do any or interact at all because they're painting, while they're watching. And I understand that because I'm the same way. When I watch streams, I yeah, generally, if I'm painting, I'm not typing in chat. If I'm, working on my computer drawing, then it's a little easier because I'm already like right there, hand on the keyboard. It's just switch over, type something out, switch back. It's a lot easier to deal with. But yeah, like there's a few streamers I watch and it's just, like I said, when I'm painting, yeah, I'm probably not typing in chat much. But yeah, I mean, the crowd of Portrait Society leans a little older, which is understandable for numerous reasons. And so a lot of them have no clue about, they don't know what Twitch is. A lot of them, like I said, a lot do not know what Discord is. And there's definitely a lot that do. I'm not trying to, say no one's technically competent there. That is not the case at all. But yeah. Julie says, you should see my type with my knife in the other hand. That's funny. Yeah. I'm actually pretty used to typing one-handed because my keyboard is off to the side when I'm drawing on my computer because the Cintiq is too large. to have it like in front of me, so it's off to the side, and I have to use it for shortcuts. So I'm drawing and my keyboard's off kind of like here. So when I need to like type a quick message or whatever, it's such a pain to like move the keyboard and, you know, type with both hands. So I just, you know, quickly type it out with one hand. The what is it? Those palettes that you hold. I forget what they're called. If they have a special name. Uh I can't remember. But yeah, those palettes that you hold, I always wonder like because they limit, you know, they limit your hand so much. I always wonder like would I be comfortable using one of those, you know, or not? I have no use for one right now because of my setup, but if I painted very large, um, I could see it being very useful. Then same, if I type, it's either one-handed around my dog lying on my other arm, or as of now, around desktop easel, bad ergonomics. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel like only if you're like really like writing a lot. Do I ever end up with the keyboard in front of me? Uh, you know, and typing with both hands. Like that's the only time I really end up, you know, like if I'm like writing a long email or writing notes for something, I don't know. Liad only has to worry about Winnie and Dresden asking for attention. These two too. Yeah, Winnie does jump on my lap without any warning. That drives me nuts. Especially because once or twice she missed and started like falling off of me, but because she didn't want to fall, she just dug in with her claws, which was extremely painful. So she just like jumps on my lap and starts to slide off and tries to stop herself with her claws. Not to mention, even when she doesn't use her claws, she still scares me because I'll just be in the middle of doing some, you know, anything. Like I could be working, I could be, you know, in the middle of a game. It doesn't matter. Just suddenly cat like in my lap, just all of a sudden. Luckily, she's the only one that does that. Is it stupid to focus on the portrait and less on the background for later? Oh, and leave the background for later? Um, it just depends. Um, it's not stupid. It just depends on the circumstance. For me, there's not a ton going on in the background here. She's basically there's just like a wall behind her with like undescript texture. So I'm just going to be like painting in like some, text, basically just some texture into the background. Not stupid. The one thing you have to be careful of is the edges of where the two things meet. And then also, if the background is complicated and you're going to need to go through the character to like paint some of it, it might be beneficial to paint some of that prior to finishing the portrait. You also want to watch out for the halo effect where you paint the figure and then or the portrait and then to clean up everything you like paint around the head, like you to clean it up and then you get this halo effect of like or this glow effect around the character. Even if the color's right, you can see the texture sometimes and it just kind of looks wrong. Also, I don't know that I would leave it like completely white. That might be distracting if you left like the background completely white and then, did that. Some people do that though, don't get me wrong. Alpi Fay or no, Alpi Effie, he does that. Excuse me, I have something in my eye. Pardon me for a second. Pretty sure, pretty sure I have a hair in my eye. I'm gonna put in some eye drops. I don't know what's going on. That makes sense. Okay. Uh, you have a camera. What is going on? Why are you glitching out on me? You have a prepared background because you had leftover paint the other day. Okay, that's fine. And like I said, it just kind of depends. I would be hesitant to finish. I basically would be hesitant to finish almost any part of the painting 100% before like moving on to another part because especially if they interact with each other, like the portrait, the hair with the background, I'd have a hard time like just like, oh, I have the background finished and then I'd just paint the portrait over it. I'm going to have to go back into the background and fix the, you know, some of those areas. But the reverse is also true. So, so yeah. If there's nothing really descript about the background, then, you have a bit of an advantage there of like leaving it till the end kind of thing. But also you want to have the color that you're going to be uh putting in because the the color relationship can affect how a color can look. So you got to be careful with that. I don't know how LPFE does it. Like he sometimes will put in a completely different color into the background. And like I would really struggle to just drop that color in like that. So one thing I really want to keep an eye on is, or rather, I think it's not so much keep an eye on it. It's more just like an intentionality thing. It's so easy to with painting, especially when you're doing something else while painting, like streaming. It is very, very easy to fall into like habits that you have and not really, I don't want to say not pay attention to the painting because that's not entirely true, but you fall into like your habits of painting, which might not always be what you want to do. And it's definitely not always what I want to do. So I have to be mindful of that all the time, which is not always not always the easiest, but try and keep that in mind. That's why I'm doing very, right now all my brush marks are very like blocky and choppy, is because I'm trying to hold on to that loose feeling. And of course there are many ways of achieving a loose feeling. I don't do the like very flowy look, I guess. That's just not so much my style. Um, you know, there's endless variations, of course. There's not one way of doing any of this stuff. But yeah. He is a challenging subject to paint. Uh, Generally, like children and pretty women are always challenging because the more marks you put down, the the more you can detract from their what's unique to them. Yeah, it can be challenging. But one thing I have come to kind of conclude is that even though that statement is generally true, um, you can get away with a lot more than you might think. Or at least I feel like I've been able to get away with a lot more than I thought I probably could, put it that way. But we'll see. We'll see today and maybe next time if I pull that off again, I guess. I was talking with a painter, a friend of mine, not at the convention, just in general. And even though this person's really, really good, and I'm not disclosing for, I don't want to name drop, and I also don't want to, I guess, I didn't ask them if I can talk about it. It's nothing personal. I don't know, I feel weird about conveying conversations other people have said to me. But the sentiment, I'm a little more comfortable with. So the general sentiment was that even though this person's so good at painting, um, there's still this like feeling of like not always knowing how to get from like start of the painting to the finish part of the painting. Like there's this weird disconnect sometimes where it's like I know where it's going, I know how to start it, and generally I understand the steps to finish it, but like there's this weird part of like I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to get to the finish here. I don't know if I'm doing a good job at kind of expressing it, but and this isn't a person who like sometimes finishes a painting, sometimes doesn't. Not at all. Like they every time they paint, they're going to finish it. You know, it's almost guaranteed. But yeah, and they teach even, and it's still got this like degree of like I don't know. There's I'm going to do a bunch of painting in between now and the finish, and somehow that's going to bring it to a finish. So if you ever feel like that, just know even other painters feel like that. Louis says that's definitely my approach. Yep. Um, so yeah. And I suspect that a lot of painters feel that way just based off of like even watching painters, you know, they like you can see they're just kind of like, okay, let's just kind of, you know, figure it out as we go kind of thing. By the way, I should mention, I'm painting um, Julia, and she is a really good painter. I was not familiar with prior to the Portrait Society, but also really nice person. Like she was very, very helpful while I was there. Just being someone that like I connected with and just super sweet. And like I said, her paintings are also really good. I tried to buy her painting at the blind auction, um, and I wasn't lucky enough to get it, but I was lucky enough for her to paint me later that day, which I got a little souvenir. It was really awesome. She does like a ton of D&D work, but so if you like D&D, definitely go check her out. Because she's doing a ton of like D&D. She does a ton of D&D work, and she's doing work for some fantasy books, which are very popular, but I do not remember the names because I cannot remember the names of basically anything in life. But yeah, highly recommend checking her out online. That's why her link is in the description. Yeah. Hey Donley, welcome. Good to see you. How you been, man? Sorry I didn't make it to movie night. Uh yeah, couldn't make it. Donley, by the way, is a streamer on Twitch. Another art streamer on Twitch. Totally check him out. Just search his name Don Leo on Twitch if you're in the YouTube chat. The spot where the hairline is always tricky because you can see some of the scalp through the hairline always. That's why there's a bit of a transition there. Um, and if you want to avoid painting each individual hair, uh, it's always a tricky spot to work on. And there's not one technique for doing it that I've come across at least. But, if someone does have the technique for doing that, by all means, let me know. I use a combination of things and it kind of changes depending on the circumstance. Donley says, I like the view of your palette. It almost looks like you have a second oil painting going on, only partially on camera. That's funny. Well, it's a very small painting, that's why. This is just an 8 by 10. And so, yeah, that's why you're getting kind of that view. Usually it's a bigger painting, so I zoom out further. But I wanted you all to be able to see this painting instead of zooming out so you can see the palette. But that is funny. I could take down the rotating gallery, so you can all see the palette better. I could do that. I just figured that it was good to have there, for people who, are new who stop by. Hey Des, welcome back. Good to see you. How are you doing? I take it things were pretty slow at the art fair. They says please keep the slideshow up. Okay. I'm going to be adding to it soon because it's been a while since I've added anything to it. And I took a bunch more photos recently, so I'll have more stuff to add to it soon. I just had a lot to deal with lately. I'm sorry you're exhausted, Des. Doing fairs is exhausting for sure. Okay, Des, I look forward to that. You made someone cry, so your job there was a success. Uh, Gonna need a little more info on that. You were there keeping your sister company, and she had a booth. All right. Conley asks a good question. What kind of art stuff does your sister do? I mean, I have a good idea, but I don't think I've ever seen her art, honestly. Seen yours, but I don't think I've ever seen hers. That says, okay, I'll explain. When the Ukraine-Russia war broke out, you did two digital pieces, uh, two diptychs. One showed an old man 2 years apart when they held skateboards, two later where they held guns. I see. I see. That makes sense. Because up until now, I'm like, okay, so you bullied someone into crying. That's not good. Donnelly's right. That does sound like a powerful piece. The second diptych was a blue and yellow bird sitting on a branch. And then the same bird sitting on rebar. There were two Ukrainian women there. They knew the bird, it's native there, and cried. Ah, that's sad. I'm trying to think. There's not a ton of, I mean, okay, maybe there are. I don't know a ton of birds where I'd be like, this bird is, you know, this type of bird is local to where I used to live, but is not very common here. Like I don't know that there's a lot of birds where I would actually recognize that. Um, so that's interesting to think about. That says I researched if they were any blue and yellow birds there, and there's a specific one that is native to Ukraine. Happened to be the one that you used it. They love that you researched it. I mean, yeah, no, that sounds great. That absolutely sounds great. I'm just thinking like I'm trying to think in like if it were, like if I were in their place type of thing, and I'm just like, yeah, I got nothing. I don't know. It says I have a wildlife book, and if it shows the different species, native and common to, yeah, I'm sure they exist. I just wouldn't know what they are. I'm so like dumb. That's all. You know? I mean, like pigeons are everywhere, right? Um, you know, yeah, I don't know. super handy. Your great grandmother got it for you when you were little. That's sweet. That that's not true. I mean it is true. I know what a cardinal is, maybe. And crows, yes. Ravens, yes. Grackles, yes. And the little brown ones, wren. What are they called? I don't know what they're called right off the top of my head. The little brown ones that jump around. Those are usually wrens. Okay, I got that right. Yeah, see, there you go. I'm in a good birding spot to see a lot of neat birds. Really, Shannon, that's good to know. I'm actually kind of excited. I recently I bought a quick release plate for my camera for this camera because it's really annoying to take it off because you have to like unscrew the camera and it's just you have to like disconnect everything and then like unscrew it and then when you go to put it back, it's never back in the same place. Like it's such a pain. I know this sounds like minor problem, and it is. But I bought a quick plate, which was not very expensive. So, minor problem, minor solution, right? Um, and now I can take my camera off much, much quicker and easy. So I'm planning on going out and taking my camera outside and taking reference shots for things. So I know I have my cell phone, and my cell phone's pretty good, but I don't know. I feel like even though my cell phone technically has more megapixels, I suspect this will be a better reference shots. Donnelly says, "Oh, and Roadrunners, he knows those. They stick their tongue out and say meep meep." Yeah, but you see, every time I see them in real life, they're so much smaller, and I can never identify them until someone tells me. Because in the cartoon, they're huge. At least they appear to be huge. And I also know what woodpeckers look like. LOL, cutting you off before you get to woodpeckers. I got you, Don Lee. Well, I have to contribute somehow. I also know what bald eagles look like and sound like, and it's they do not sound very impressive at all. Anytime you see like a show opening or anything, and there's a bald eagle, and you hear like a screech or like it almost is always like a hawk or something else, because bald eagles make a very like um kind of shrill meeping sound and not very impressive. The most famous, I think, was in like the Stephen Colbert uh report opening. Yeah. But can I identify big birds? They're yellow and you can often be seen with woolly mammoths. True. Although, wasn't the woolly mammoth his hallucination? I thought the woolly mammoth was just his in his mind. And also, you're forgetting another bird I can identify. Everyone thought it was a hallucination, but one day Big Bird was finally able to introduce everyone to Mr. Snuffleupagus. Really interesting. Are you sure that's canon, or did Big Bird just dose everyone, and so they were all mass hallucinating together? You got the Sesame Street facts on cue for me? Okay. I'm not an expert at Sesame Street, so I will take your word for it. I did watch Sesame Street as when I was a kid, but I do not remember most of it. I do remember Oscar the Grouch, and I do remember Cookie Monster. LOL, Big Bird spiked everyone's Kool-Aid. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the Kool-Aid man is also just a hallucination after all. Zan says, wait, what? There's no Kool-Aid man? Right? Donnelly says, I would have dropped a link in chat of the scene, but you know that, you know how that goes. Yeah, absolutely. You can't drop links in YouTube. They're they're so strict about that. But I ask you again, can you guess what other bird I can identify? Zan says peacock. Actually, wasn't what I was thinking, but yeah, that makes another one. Peacock, absolutely. Peacocks are easy to identify. You're right. Actually, I also know what they sound like because I used to live next to them. So that was a good guess. It wasn't what I was thinking about, but that is true. Peacocks are beautiful, but they're what's it called? They do not sound the nicest, I'll be honest. Like when I lived next to them, it was not fun. Also, an interesting fact about peacocks. Unless I'm mistaken, they're the blue color of their feathers. If you were to grind it up, like if you were to take one of their feathers, grind it up, and try and make paint out of it, for instance, it would not look blue because their feathers aren't actually blue. That shimmery blue is a result of the structure of the feather on a, like, I guess, microscopic level. I don't know how close you have to get. And it affects the wavelengths of light, trapping some of it and returning the blue. And that's why it has that like shimmery effect versus like just being a blue color. Same thing with butterflies. It's like um, it's a three-dimensional structure if you look closely at it. As soon as you break that structure, it looks like, I think, black or brown or something like that, like a or grayish. I'm not sure. But yeah, I was actually thinking of toucans, for the record, because of the cereal. But technically speaking, I also am familiar with some um, like African gray and cockatoo or cockatiel, both of them actually. Yeah. Suddenly just jumped into my Twitch chat for some reason. Just saw this photo of a peacock a few days ago, and all our talk made me think of it. Oh, thanks, man. I know what a parrot is too, Michelle. Yeah, yes. Oh, that's cool, Donnelly. And here's what Donnelly was sharing. Donnelly says, "Okay, I gotta get working on some stuff. Have a great stream. Take care, everyone." Bye, Donnelly. Good to see you. By the way, the painting is coming along great. Oh, thank you. Have a good one, Donnelly. Julia says, I'm done for tonight. I will be posting what I have done on the Discord. Nice. Thank you so much, Leah. You got me motivated to go for it. Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. That's great. I look forward to seeing what you posted. All right. I'm gonna take a quick break. I'm not leaving, I'm just taking a break from painting. Uh, 1 second. Yeah, that makes me so happy to hear that that I encouraged you to get back into it. That's great. I love hearing that. I should do a painting of Dresden. Uh, yeah, I'm not much of a, pet painter though, is the issue. He is adorable though. Camera. Hi, camera. But it's Dresden, right? All right. Let's just do some back stretches real quick. Oh, the camera's, I don't know how to fix it. Oh, it struggles sometimes. He's doing the pose you want right now. His tummy is exposed and super fluffy. Yeah, I get it. I get it. It's just, I'm not sure you know, I'm not sure I'm the right person to do that painting, but I get it. It's funny, this painting's coming along, I think, pretty well, but it's so interesting how a painting fleshes out over time. I know pet portraits as like a genre, like people want paintings of their pets. I know those sell. I wonder if paintings of animals in general sell, like not of their own pets, just like random animals. I do wonder about that because I know that someone told me that landscapes and still lives tend to sell better than um, what's it called? Than like portraits do. I wonder about I wonder about just random animals. Oh, someone posted in my Discord. Nice. Looking forward to that. I'm gonna try and keep going for another hour, but I can feel like draining is it's so crazy. It doesn't seem like it'd be all that hard, but it's surprisingly draining. And I've definitely like built up my stamina for it, but yeah, surprising how much it can wear you out. Dan says, I made my living on pet portraits for years. The best way is to sell them is to do them on commission. It's uncommon for someone to buy a portrait of a strange pet, uh, though breed lovers will. That makes sense. And I know a lot of artists make a living doing pet portraits. Michelle says I sell enamel pins with dogs and cats. People buy them because they look like their dogs or pets, etc. Yeah. That says I've had a few pet commissions. Yeah. Yeah, no, I know a lot of artists make money off of that. It's great. This is most of my commissions have been fan art or making someone look like they're in the franchise they love. Oh, that's fun. Michelle was saying that I just got done doing a pet commission for one of her customers. It looks amazing. Yeah, it was a digital piece. Um, I worry that you know, I worry that artwork like that is going to uh disappear though. Digital artwork like that, I mean. Or I should say digital commissions like that are just going to disappear unless you have a following specifically, you know, for that, I should say. Unfortunately, though, I do think that is a that is something that is going to just diminish and disappear in time. But not oil paintings. I think the people who appreciate oil, a real medium, will not. That won't disappear. I'm referring specifically to digital. Like I said, if you have a following, if you create that, that's different, of course. That changes everything. So, question to anyone watching and anyone watching later, catching the VOD. Um, what do you all think? If I do a workshop and it goes over the 4th of July weekend, uh, just do it so that it like has a break over the 4th of July weekend and finishes up, continues afterwards. Uh, not do it at all. What would you do if you were looking at a class and it like went over the 4th of July weekend? Would that stop you from taking it? Would you want a break during that time? I'm just curious if anyone has any uh input. I'll be Des, I think Donnelly left. I don't know if he's still in here. Zan says wouldn't bother me if it went over the 4th of July weekend. If it was something you wanted to do. Okay, good to know. I suspect that, I mean, that's personally how I feel, but I'm not big on 4th of July, like celebrations, but some people are. Hey, Michael. Good to see you. How you doing, man? It's been Michael, by the way, is a really good painter. I highly recommend checking him out. He's um, part of Chelsea's class and Chelsea Lang. And I met him for the first time in person at the Portrait Society, and he was really fun to hang out with. This is looking really good. You're nailing the likeness. Oh, thank you so much. How have you been, man? I've actually been wanting to reach out to you. See how's it going? How's the paintings? Yeah, I wish I'd be able to finish it today, but I don't think I'm gonna pull it off. I'm always so much slower when I stream and paint. It's a huge difference in speed sometimes. Not always, because sometimes like I'm really pushing myself and I can kind of pull it off fast. But yeah, it's generally slows me down quite a bit. Good. It's been good. It was great meeting you at the conference. Yeah, absolutely. It was great hanging out with you and meeting you in person. Yeah, Michael was great to hang out with, especially since I didn't know anybody, you know, I'd literally never met any of the people I knew at the conference in person. So it was great having people to hang out with. You recognized Julia from the thumbnail and had to jump in to check it out. Nice. Yeah, when I took this photo reference, this is when she was getting painted by a few people, but oh, what's her name? Oh, I'm blanking. Tina? Is it Tina? Um, the one artist. But yeah, I told her I was gonna take I was gonna make a painting out of it. So figured I'd keep the momentum going um from the conference. There was one person did a demo with colors similar to my palette, but he was working on a model who was African American, and he used a color that I've never used before. You said it was to help with the yellow tones, the darker yellow tones. Now I want to buy that paint to see how useful it is. Uh, which, you know, is, I don't know if that's silly, but I feel like I always I want to buy all the paints and try them all. There's a term for that, I'm pretty sure, but I don't remember what it's called. Where like you want to constantly upgrade your gear and everything. I definitely suffer from that. What did you think of the what did you think of the conference, Michael? You're, you're welcome to share your opinions here. But also, if it's too much typing, you're welcome to not. I always, want people to feel comfortable not responding if they don't want to share something. It's also a public forum. Sometimes people don't want to. I get that as well. I know some people in chat have asked some question. I mean, people who couldn't make it to the conference were curious about it. I think I answered most everyone's questions, but you never know. It was overwhelming. It was wonderful. You felt quite drained after it. Yeah. You're just now beginning to get some momentum back. You needed to decompress for a week. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, it was definitely exhausting and draining in a good way, but yeah, absolutely. Um, I didn't get much I didn't get much time to recover though. I came back and I came back on Monday, and Tuesday I was right back at work, and then Thursday I was back at streaming. Um, yeah. But I will say I've been a little on the lethargic side otherwise, because yeah, definitely felt it. Her eyes will probably be one of the last things I paint, by the way. I usually leave eyes to the end now. I used to do it the opposite, but now I leave eyes um, to the end. Dan says, timeout. I'll be back. The painting is looking gorgeous. Thank you. No worries. No problem at all. But yeah, eyes are so tricky. And I do mean like, I do mean just finishing them. Obviously, I've kind of put them in now already, but like the final like finish usually is one of the last things I do. Um, and that's not just because I heard that Sargent did it that way, but I'd be lying if that didn't influence me at all. But no, the idea behind that is that you have so many things like around the eyes and everything that you end up having to like touch up everything anyways. And so it just kind of is a waste of time almost. And sometimes, things I feel like my paintings have a my paintings suffer from a slight drift problem. They tend to drift a little because I mess with the edges so much. So sometimes things move and then I have to push them kind of back into place. And so tightening something up to a finish before it's 100% in the right place is not a good idea. Yeah, I used to do it exactly the opposite. The idea was paint the eyes in first or draw the eyes in first because if you can't get the eyes right, why even bother finishing the painting or the drawing? But now my assumption is that I can pull it off. I have the confidence that, you know, one way or another I can pull it off. So I don't have to worry about that. And even if you don't have that confidence, uh, fake it, you know. I feel like because I don't always pull off the eyes in the first go. Sometimes it takes a few, you know. That's okay. When I was at the Portrait Society, I was so tempted to buy all the paint. They had such like Michael Harding had his paints there. I'm trying to remember I think his is the brand I was most interested in. Winsor Newton also had their paint there, but I have Winsor Newton paint. I don't have any Michael Harding, and I was so tempted to buy some. Uh, it was so hard to restrain myself. Oh my God. If anybody ever goes to the convention, just know that the paint sellers there actually discount their paints pretty pretty good, and so it's actually pretty. I don't want to say cheap, but cheaper than normal to buy the paints. So that is nice. So if my goal was to do paintings that are like super finished and everything smooth, you know, I don't want to call them traditional portraits, but very, very smooth portraits. Um, this would definitely need a ton more work. That is not my goal. Not saying that this is finished, but it's feeling like it's finally making some of that progress towards finished. The hand definitely needs some work though. Okay, it does. No worries. Yeah, no worries, Des. No problem at all. Sorry, I need to check something real quick. Um, oh, okay. Just checking. Sorry, I got a message about something. Just want to make sure, see, if I needed to answer immediately. If it was like urgent, you never know. Hey, Des, I have a question for you. I know you moderate and for some people uh on Twitch. Do you um do you moderate for anybody on Discord? Uh, and do you have any experience with connecting Discord and Patreon? I'm curious if you're familiar with that. I think her forehead needs some work. Looking kind of, I don't know, patchy, I guess. YouTube keeps warning me that there's no audio coming from my stream. It's because I'm not talking, but whatever. They expect you to have like non-stop audio, no dead time. They're very opposed to silence. you know, if they set a thing up where you could actually play music during your streams, maybe I would have constant sound, but they like to DMCA any good music you play. Oh, you end up either with royalty-free music, which I just generally don't like to listen to, or silent streams. Having said that, I can feel myself fading, so I am going to be wrapping up soon. It was a short stream for me for Sundays, but you know, still kind of building back up to my normal schedule. Although my schedule has changed for anyone who doesn't know, I am going to be streaming Tuesday and Thursdays and also Sundays. So 3 times a week still, but just um, Tuesdays and Thursdays. One of the things to remember when painting from photo reference, uh, is that, and why it's so good to do painting from models if you can, from live models in person, which I know not everybody can do, but one of the benefits to that is that we generally see stereoscopically, you know, unless you're missing an eye. And so edges of things, like the edge of someone's face, we don't see it the way we see it in photos. So trying to kind of fake that when your reference is a photo is not easy. I'm not even going to claim to nail it every time, but I will say it is very hard to get it right if you don't have the experience of painting from a or drawing from a live model. There might be something online where someone teaches it. I don't know, actually. I've never looked for that. Might be worth looking up, though. I also don't know if there's like a precise mathematical way of like teaching it, or if it's more of an experience thing. Because I know that people, when they paint from a live model, in a way, they're trying to overcome that. So I don't know. Although it's also worth saying that like some of the camera effects and photo effects that you get from photography, a lot of people put that into their paintings as well. So it's not, you know, not like there's nothing desirable about photographs, not to mention, of course, the very obvious, which is it just takes a moment in time and lets you paint it later. It's also worth mentioning that the colors that photography recreates is not nearly as, you know, as wide as the colors that you see in person. Unfortunately. All right. I am about to call it a day for today. It was great getting back into stream and painting. I know it's a little short. Yeah, just I can feel myself kind of fading. I don't want to make a ton of mistakes that I'm going to have to fix later, because that is what happens a lot of times. I want to say thank you to everyone who stopped by. I appreciate you stopping in and hanging out. I really do. Um, I said I paint. I stream 3 times a week. Sunday afternoon, Tuesday, and Thursday night. Yeah. And if any of my paintings, you know, if catch your eye, a lot of them are for sale on my website. There should be a link somewhere. And yeah, that's about it. Just gonna give it a few minutes. I always say goodbye early because there's such a delay when streaming that I like to give it a minute. Alrighty. Yeah. All right. I don't raid people because I stream simul stream, and that makes life way too complicated. And so I don't raid anybody, even though I feel like raiding is a great thing overall. Raiding, for anyone who doesn't know, is when you like take your stream and basically go into someone else's stream and as a viewer bring everybody along with you. But yeah, it's overly complicated when multi-streaming, so I don't do it. Anyways, thank you all for stopping in. I appreciate it. And I'm going to say have a good night now. Have a great rest of your weekend. And I'll be back on Tuesday. Bye, everyone.